What up, Gotchi gang? How you guys doing this week? I'm your host, Coder Dan, filling in for No Futuristic.
What's good? Gotcha gang. How you doing, Coder Dan?
Good morning.
GM to you.
Got Web coming up. Hey, sir.
How's it going? Filling in.
Yeah, I'm liking that new PFP web.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, anyone
You're
can
on
use
those,
it.
right?
No, anyone can use them.
I look at that, I think of Mark Zeller.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's...
Yep. He's the only one.
Yes, sir.
He's the only one. That's crazy. I mean,
impressive.
It makes sense. There's only
who else has him? Because I know he has the set. Do we know who else has the other stuff?
I guess we'll find out in rarity farming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea who has it, but yeah, he's the only full set, right? It's like pretty hard to get a full one.
Felon's gonna
for
come
anything.
up with a full set.
Well, I just feel like every time there's a round of godlikes, like one or two of them just doesn't make it back onto the market.
Yeah.
For like anywhere near
Diamond
floor
handed.
price, yeah. I mean sometimes, yeah. I mean like the helmet, or there's no helmets for sale.
That's what happens when you only have 5 items.
Yeah, there's no helmets for sale. Nobody wants to sell their Oni mask.
The masks are, other than the katana, I think are the sickest wearable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean whatever it is, maybe it's just the people who got them. It doesn't matter if there's only 5, you know. It's like,
hey, you want to be unique in the Gotchiverse, right?
You're definitely unique if you have any godlikes. There's not a lot. Shoot, you're even like if you have any wearables, like because if you aren't like more than half the gotchis like naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot less wearables than there are gotchi places to hold them.
Yeah, exactly.
At the current moment, obviously we'll release more in the future, but
You're talking about slots?
yeah, I know we have. Yeah, there's like 8 slots or 7 wearable slots.
Well, I'm interested with
all
all
those gotchis. You know,
I mean, those slots can be
5
anything.
Yeah.
They don't even have to be items. They can be like literally anything. Title, like I don't know, like any sort of like permissioning. Like there could be so many layers to what that is. Maybe it's like a third party like tool. Like a socket that people can plug their own metadata into or something. I don't know.
I mean, if they're ERC 115s, what would be stopping someone from like creating their own wearable and attaching it to their gotchi, or say even like putting a badge in like the gotchi's pocket that's not like Pixel Craft official?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really equip it because the equip script, like the on-chain, it only really works with wearables that are from the contract. So that will probably, I think at some point, once we do get to a point where we can have like community wearables, then we'll probably make, the community would need to make like a new contract for wearables.
Yeah.
They can kind of monitor which ones are going in there and make sure there's nothing like horrible, or you have to have a certain level of quality.
Yeah.
Right before they're added.
You could put the creations of the wearables to like a DAO vote to see if it's community friendly.
Yeah, well, there's that, and the other way you can go about it is charging a fee. Like, if you want the quality to be X, then you put a fee on it. But then you have to have obviously like a way to pull plug on like people that are just doing poorly spirited designs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't want the like floodgates to just be open. I mean, WTF will probably do a round of like these are like the best ones of this group, and then put it up to a vote, and then we'll vote on it, do a sig prop, core prop before they get implemented to kind of like make sure that we're only getting the best items in. I think that would be kind of like the best way, that based off of what we currently have set up with the DAO.
It should be something good enough that you can resell it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's like that's the way I see it. It's like if you're not behind it enough to pay money to implement it, then like it's probably not that good. But also like it shouldn't be
And then
so
we get
expensive that
GBM.
our actual community members can't afford it.
Yeah. Then we can GBM the new wearables. You could do
Yeah.
one of ones or like make them rare so they're more expensive for people, and then the artist can be making more of a yield back from the whatever percentage.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe a one of one's like pretty cheap per, maybe it's expensive per unit, but it's like, maybe it's like 1,000 or less than 1,000 ghost. You know what I mean?
Or you do them like godlike drops. You just don't want to oversupply the market with like non-pixel craft official stuff and like just not good art.
True,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty sad to see that happen. But I don't think that there's that many people that make like ugly stuff that are excited to replace like their good looking stuff.
No, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
if they can sell it for like $20, you'd be surprised.
True. Yeah, good point.
Morning, guys.
How's
morning,
it going?
Hefe.
Morning.
How's it going, Hefe?
Good, man. I'm
It's still early for you.
yeah, it's 6:12 a.m.
It's about to be me next month.
Yeah, I gotta schedule my Friday night around this, but I enjoy it. So it's like, it's a hangout, it's a virtual hangout. So yeah, I'm up. I got my coffee. I should be up. I mean,
You're not
I'm
gonna miss it, right?
Well,
yeah.
when I
I'm
move
just
to
listening
Cali,
to
I
what
might
you guys are saying.
stay up all night. You might be getting a very tired Addison.
Oh yeah, I think I was talking to No Future last night. He said he's gonna make it a goal to leave the bar at 2 a.m. So I hope he followed his plan, but we'll see.
He might have ended up at another girl's place. Away from his
Fair.
setup. He's biking back right now.
Oh, probably. He's probably
Thank
biking
you
back.
back.
Is he a Is he a cycler? Does he ride
Yeah.
his bicycle around?
He
That's
bikes
awesome.
around or walks around, yeah.
That's awesome. I want to get
Well,
rid of
yeah,
my car. That's probably what I would do. But
He was saying he usually has to wait for the train on the way home, on his walk on the way home. The train holds him up. So maybe he's just like waiting by the train tracks so he can get to the hangout. So
Jesus.
His phone's probably dead. He's probably racing home to charge it to get back on the computer.
Oh, you know what? I'll say No Future is like the most dedicated Gaji gang member because
Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely a reason why he's not here. I can't wait.
anytime we need something recorded, he'll like go home. Like I don't know what he's doing when I ask him, but he's like, I'm on it. Like I'll go record it.
Right. For him,
Everything.
Gatsby comes first.
Dude, I think he's the only person that goes to more events than I do.
Yeah, I'd say, Gotchi Gang overall is
Yeah.
a pretty tight-knit community from what I've seen in the past, like even
Yeah.
other games.
I mean, there's
Kobe,
probably some lurkers.
I know
You just keep seeing the same faces show up like all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Coder Dan, I think you have experience in the past, right? With like building communities. You were running,
Yeah.
what was it, like in English? You were teaching English or something similar, something like that?
Yeah, I basically bootstrapped a social media like platform, or not really platform, but like multiple accounts here in China. Basically started from 0 and grew to about 1 million subscribers, followers on the different platforms, and then just kind of got burned out with and just kind of demoralized by a lot of the stuff here in China. So I just decided to focus fully on crypto, which is a much more interesting space than the English education space. But yeah, I was able to grow within about a year, get 1 million followers in China. There's 1.34 billion Chinese people, so 1 million's not that big, but it's still 1 million's 1 million, I guess.
It's a decent amount, like it's not easy to get to. Like a lot of us writing our channels and stuff, it takes a lot of dedication to get
it's
there.
It's a grind for sure.
Yeah.
Having like I was kind of lucky to have some of the platforms in China. Like they have kind of a different model. Like they will be very kind of aggressive in giving you like front page of the site, like when they go to the platform, they see your video on the front screen. And I was able to get, like, my content was good enough that I was able to get front screen, first page access for a lot of these platforms. So that definitely helped. It's kind of the equivalent of being on the YouTube, what's that like top, they have like a top page that is all horrible
Trending
content.
page.
No one, like trending.
Right.
Yeah, it's like being on the trending
Trending.
page, but yeah. So that was cool. That was one way that I grew pretty fast. But I also just had kind of viral content, which is always good. Fresh stuff, new content, relevant, good
Just
thumbnails.
degen enough.
It was pretty DJ. It was a little bit DJ. It was definitely pretty.
Teaching English.
Well,
You were teaching them
it
all the
wasn't-
good stuff, right?
Oh, I was, yeah, definitely teaching the good English. But now my angle was to do funny videos that had like a little bit of English in them. And so that people would be like, their interest would be piqued in the funny video. And then they would be like, who is this guy? And then they'd find out I was the teacher. And then they'd come over and like subscribe to my English teaching content. That was kind of the funnel that we had.
Nice.
But it wasn't super effective because most of the people, like 99.9% of the people, just came, watched the video, and like, they just kind of left and did something else. So it wasn't really like that well targeted.
Dan,
So,
that's great.
Very impressive.
Yeah, Dan, I remember you kicked off the channel with, you got to come out the gate strong. You had some pretty crazy first videos. The premise for some of those, like, I think there were some threats to, like, you're on a rooftop or something.
Oh, like
Wait,
really, really early on. Yeah, my first video was me. Yeah, it was. What was I saying? Like it was a joke. I was like saying I was like a meme at the time. I was like pretending to be like a really super poor guy and need to like people to donate to me or something. It was pretty horrible.
cringe.
It was pretty
was like,
cringe, but
Where are these videos, Carter? Dan?
Where's the link? Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
bring a link.
No way.
Come on.
No, it's all on the other side of the firewall.
Oh,
Yeah, you guys have to come to China.
Seriously, really? It's like that?
It's a different internet. But yeah,
Yeah,
Dan
there's-
was very creative. I was fortunate enough to catch some of those very early videos, and
I'll call some friends. I'll find the link.
I did a couple. One of my most popular series was like in China, some of the hotlines that you'll call, they have like an English speaking person, like someone can kind of speak English. So this was like I called up I think I started with it was a Papa John's or Burger King. I basically called up and ordered something in English, and then I like reviewed how well they handled the order when it got to my door and kind of made fun of it a little bit. So that one did well on the platforms. It kind of annoyed, like there were some people who were really angry. They were like, how dare this guy criticize our fast food service? Then there are other people like, well, it's a foreign company, like they should have people who can speak English. It's a foreign company. So I was able to kind of surf that momentum of people discussing and like getting like that sort of that angry group of people, that the mob kind of effect, but
Yeah.
also wasn't being like totally destroyed by it because there are people supporting my argument too. So that was a popular series. I did a few of those.
yeah,
You're-
just a little bit trolly, but also very unique. Like, I don't know, when it comes to growth hacking and finding a message that resonates, Dan definitely has a knack for it. So for some of you guys, I know you're running your channels and stuff. I mean, what were some of your key principles, Dan? We used to talk about when I got involved. It was like the titles, right? Like titles matter so much.
Like it's all about like like every video needed to have like a kernel of an idea, and that idea would be something that's like fun. It would be like it's something new that people have never seen before. So if you can find that, and then you can find a way to take that idea, something new then that no one has ever seen before, and then you kind of condense it into a title, then all you need to do for the video, that's the easy part. The video is just go out and make the video and have it live up to the title, and you're basically well on your way. But if you have a cool video, but it's like it doesn't have an idea behind it, and now, I mean, we would just call it like a meme. Like, what's the meme behind the video?
Yeah.
It needs to have something.
Yeah, there's so many videos nowadays that is just straight clickbait, and what they said in the title was like 2 seconds of the video, like the end. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
There's a lot of really good stuff on YouTube. I mean, I love the meme videos. Like there's like these new series I've been seeing pop up. It's like it's on the left side, it's like a girl doing something, and on the right side it's like a boy doing something. And usually like the guy is just like really wild and like doing something like really extreme, and the girl's just kind of like normal. I think it's a pretty funny series because they're able to take that and do all sorts of variations of it. Like, there's like an endless possibility of things to do with it. That's another thing for YouTube. Like you want to get known as like doing some sort of shtick. Like this is the channel that does this. Because once you can get known in that shtick, you have like your own little unique shtick that you do, then you don't have to think about what kind of content you want to do that week. You're just like, all right, I got my shtick. I just need to work within the constraints of that and find something new within that. I don't need to think like totally out of the box. I just need to think about what my niche is and hone in on that, and then find something creative and new within that. Like
what a lot of people are doing nowadays, because a lot of people have a lot of different interests, are making multiple YouTube channels with those different shticks and those niches, so that channel is specific to that. So if people are just looking for that, they can go there. But if someone has like, they're interested in doing Avagachi, but then they're also interested in doing political science or whatever it is, like or art, then they create like specific channels for that instead of just combining them all. That helps the algorithm a lot.
Totally. Yeah, you definitely, like, one channel needs to be like positioned in one kind of area with one shtick, one topic. Otherwise, it just becomes a mess. No one really knows what to expect from your next video. And if you get to that point, that was kind of one of the issues I had with my videos, was that I wanted to do funny videos, but at the same time, there was a ton of people that wanted to see educational, like useful content for English, and I just didn't make. I should have made like 2 channels, but I also just was limited in bandwidth. I could only make like 1 video every week. So, YouTube's a lot of work. If you're doing like long form 10-minute content that is creative, and it's not just like reaction videos, right? Those are the easiest. You just react to something. You can make 20 of those every day. Like real content is definitely, it takes a lot of time.
That's why some people, like the best people, don't like post like once a month, and then they post like a really good content. Or, I mean, I know the best thing is to do for consistency is like at least once a week at like the same time. But I mean, man, trying to put together a quality video in like a week, especially if it's not like a reaction video or something like that, like it takes a lot of time, especially if there's like in-person IRL stuff that you have to film, let alone like animations that you have to create and all the editing. It's a grind, and if you're not ready for that grind, it's like it's very hard to get into. But because once you're in it, you got to be consistent every week, because that's how you grow. And if you stop being consistent, the algorithm drops you off, and you're fucked, kind of.
Man, like I'm over here. I was taking some notes from you, Dan, because a lot of that stuff is like on the surface. Some of those things you said are they sound straightforward and pretty easy to understand. But I think there's a lot more, like it goes deep with that stuff.
Yeah, it's really hard to find your own shtick. Like that's the challenge, is to know. It's like what you can do, what doesn't take too much time to do, what you enjoy doing, and what people want to see. Like if you can find that YouTube ikigai and like put that together, because and also like what you can do consistently over a long period of time. Like if you do one meme video and it's super awesome, and it goes viral, then you don't have anything to like follow up and like keep doing in that same style, then that's you just become like a one-hit wonder. Like no one's gonna sub to your channel. So the key is to do something that is new, but also you can like do lots of content in that same like genre, or ideally it's the same style. Like one of my favorite channels is Ryan George. I don't know if you guys know him. He does like movie like not trailers, but like yeah, it's like movie pitches, and he plays himself. Like he plays two characters himself. So and it's movie's a great channel idea because there's endless amount of movies, and then he can like if people want to see their favorite movie, then he can do it in his style where he's like pitching it to it as a Hollywood executive, and it's full of all sorts of inconsistencies in the video and like all sorts of spoilers and stuff. So that's like a perfect example of evergreen, like an evergreen shtick. You can do that forever, and people love watching it.
It's really cool how you have all this background, this background experience with building social channels, and then on the other side you have all the coding. Like I wonder, like, did you go to school for coding? Like, did you learn how to code through a
Yeah.
program, or like what? Like that's a big switch, isn't it? Like from building a community and YouTube, and then going over to programming. That's I
Yeah.
don't think there's too many similarities. Like what appealed to you there that made you want to start kind of coding and
Yeah.
creating what you're doing, kind of what led you to do what you're doing now.
Yeah, I don't know, I've always like been kind of really interested in making products and just like making stuff that people can use. So when I actually majored in Mandarin Chinese in college. I'm not like a CS major or anything, but I love languages, so I pick up languages pretty easily. And so after graduating, I played around. I kind of self-taught myself Objective C, which is what you used to use to code iOS apps. So it's like C. It's a little bit like C. It's Objective C, so it's for native iOS apps before they changed it to Swift. And so I did that like a year and a half, and that was when actually before that I was learning PHP a little bit. I learned PHP, hated it, absolutely was like this language is garbage, and kind of got off coding for a little bit. But then my friend got me back into it, and we started making an app together. So that's when I really kind of went deep into coding and learning how to write code. And then that app didn't really work out, so I was in China, and it was like there's a social media boom, and I was like I just kind of was sick of coding a little bit at that time, so I just figured I would basically try to become a celebrity here in China, and did that for a year and a half or 2 years. Got pretty good success, but yeah, just got burned out. And the government here was kind of like a little bit anti-foreigner in their policies, so it was becoming harder and harder to like grow a following doing fun content that I was interested in. So then I got back. Crypto was booming, so got into crypto in 2016 and was like, this is it. Like this is what I want to do. I love crypto. I love the ethos. I love the people. I love the tech. So that's when in 2017, 2018, I really started like looking more into JavaScript and Web3 and then Solidity.
Oh wow, yeah, that probably resonates with a lot of people in here right now. I mean, that journey started in, you said 2016, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think like me myself, I'm kind of going through this now, and I think Addison and Webb and a lot of us in here now are making this transition from the old way of doing things to the Web3 world. And some of us like out of necessity, and other ones because, there's a lot of potential. So I think it's really interesting to kind of hear your journey from back then, and how, people can get involved in Web3 today. It's so interesting how Avagachi can be kind of like a good on-ramp for that, to get people thinking about it, at least, in the long term,
Mhm.
if this is something they could do. for work.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely Avagachi is definitely going to play a role in the Web3, the crypto revolution. Again, especially on the dev side, helping people like understand the value of NFTs. Yeah, there's kind of like an anti-NFT movement that is very, very reactionary right now. But I'm sure it's just to be kind of the beginning as people slowly realize like NFTs are here to stay. They're going to want to build more and more on them. So hopefully, Aavegotchi can be a good platform that we can attract a lot of the newcomers who are kind of looking to get their feet wet a little bit with NFTs and NFT gaming.
Yeah, it's a good, easy like entry point for people because it's fun, it's whimsical, but the actual tech and the DAO and all that stuff like it has real world implications. But it's kind of like in a playful sandbox with like plushy walls in a way.
Yeah.
Imagine when these social apps and stuff get integrated. Like I saw your tweet, Dan, about the Lens protocol, and I was reading some of their GitHub, the Gitbook stuff. It's really interesting to see how they're gonna do this with the NFT profiles, and I'll probably not get too deep into it because it was a lot to kind of read and get through, but the Gitbook was pretty interesting to read about Lens protocol, and I think they're part of the Aave ecosystem, right?
Yeah, I mean it's made by the Aave team. I'm a little annoyed at the way they rolled out their protocol. I mean it's not. I don't think it's just me. The way that we were pretty close with Aave. They didn't like notify me at any point that I needed to join and like sign their open letter. I hadn't seen their open letter until they literally started their Discord and launched, Lens Protocol, the website. And then I joined it and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Started looking into it. And then it's just weird. They have this like early early bloomer or something? Early bloomer role in the Discord. And they're getting hundreds and like thousands of people joining the Discord, and everyone's asking them like, how do I get the early bloomer role? Like I want to be an early bloomer. And like there's just tons of messages in the Discord and some of their announcements saying like, hey guys, sorry you can't get an early bloomer anymore because it was only for the day before we you had to sign the open letter before you joined the Discord or before we launched the Discord. So there's literally like 16,000 people in the Discord who can't get the early bloomer role. It just feels kind of, it's like it not necessarily for like an airdrop, but it felt like a weird way to launch a Discord. Like we're gonna launch this Discord and everyone who joins it can't be an early bloomer now. It's like, sorry.
Yeah, that is a little strange.
And it wasn't really, I didn't ever see the Aave team or anyone like publicly talking about the like joining anything. That's what kind of annoyed me. Like guys were like, there was no message from the Aave telling us coming into here or giving us like heads up. I'm kind of salty on it a little bit, but I mean I'm sure it's going to be super cool, and we should definitely look into building. Like if there's any builders in the chat who have more time than I do, I would love to be building on it. It's just we have to build out our game and all that, but we definitely want to have Gachi gang presence on Lens Protocol. So if anyone has looked into it and is like keen to build something on it, definitely think about applying for a developer grant from Pixelcraft, or eventually we'll probably do a DAO grants as well. But definitely like a Pixelcraft grant would be, I think that'd be a good signal and would show the Aave community that like Gachi Gang wants to build on Lens Protocol. I'm not totally sure what the first like product that's going to come out of Lens Protocol is, because they have the documentation, but it's like I don't think they have a real app built on it yet, right? They're kind of like going to let the community build an app on top of it. Is how I understand it.
Yeah, so there's no, they didn't like launch with a UI. They just launched with like dev docs for like basically blockchain like functionality to
Mhm.
make these profiles, index them, like, and manage them on the blockchain. And so
Yeah.
they didn't really launch with any product, and I'm kind of with you in like they didn't really launch in like a very open source like ethos like way. Like it felt kind of like closed. Like they didn't really make a lot of like a lot of bridges for people to get
Yeah.
in. But maybe they're doing something new. Whatever. Like best of luck to them. Like it seems like a good idea. Hopefully it's like really easy for us to have lots of things built on top of it, and for it to be like a silent under like pinning to what we're doing on cross-platform stuff. I think that it's like going to be really helpful for like the next step of social apps to be able to plug everything in for us.
Yeah, it seems. I think it's obviously it's really cool. Yeah, I want to see what an app looks like on Lens Protocol. Like, because it seems to me like every follow and everything you do needs to be an on-chain transaction, which I'm a little bit scared of. It's like if you follow someone, it creates an NFT, I think, right? And you get like, or someone gets an NFT when you follow them, or you get the NFT. It's like that's pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy to mint an NFT on chain whenever you follow someone. Imagine, Matt, how
Bots.
does someone get to like 1 million followers? That's 1 million NFTs.
It's a lot of 1155s. I assume they're 1150.
Yeah, I mean they must be 1155s, obviously, but yeah, it might be pretty heavy. I was very surprised that they did all that on chain. I was figured they were gonna do some like IPFS thing or something like that, but no, they went and did it on chain.
Yeah.
We love on chain. It's just super. I can't really see how it's gonna scale to like 100 million
Everyone.
people, like Twitter levels, unless they have like a roll up eventually or are able to get that kind of move it off chain.
Maybe it's like a more secure channel for like legitimate, I don't know, social like use, like for like governments. And I mean maybe that's what they're trying to brand to, is like more of an official social platform. But I see what you're saying. Like it doesn't make any sense for that to be a sustainable way to make a social product.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's a lot of NFTs. The one thing I noticed from the Git book that I did think was interesting was how when you share, you can share a tweet, or I don't know what you would call it.
You
like
mirror it, right?
you can mirror it, so you're not actually, in that sense, you're not creating an NFT. But then you have the option of minting it. Now I don't know how that works. Maybe that's you have to reach a certain follow count to be able to mint certain tweets. But it's an interesting concept. But I agree with you guys that I wonder how they're going to be able to roll this out, or how an app can be built on it and scale up to the point where it's running as well as an off-chain app would run.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if there would be a way for you to like follow, let's say like you wanted to follow like every person that has a gotchi or whatever, for example. I wonder if it would need an NFT for every gotchi, or if you could have it as one NFT. Because I mean that could be a way that you could scale it a little bit, I guess, but like not needing as much NFTs to serve your algorithm, like who you're gonna allow to, I don't know, interface with your social feed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we need smart contracts to have followers. Just be like this smart contract has the most followers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. Social media products are super hard to build, and I'm impressed that they decided to take it on. It's definitely probably the hardest thing to build is a social media app.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
I
Definitely.
was kind of confused it wasn't under Aave. Like did they have any like financial like documents that they released?
Like as far as well, like who owns Lens Protocol?
Yeah, like are there like foreseeable future earnings going to be like accountable to, because I mean they've been teasing
Yeah.
like this as part of their their operations for like months and months and months. And now if it's like going to be something that's like a totally new product and doesn't have any like, I mean, I understand that if they're forced to do it as a separate entity due to like blockchain purposes, but if they don't like give a kickback to the Aave community that like basically funded it, I don't know.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
I mean,
Yeah,
in a
it's cool
sense,
that it chose Polygon. That'll definitely bring
Mhm.
more attention to Polygon, which is good for us.
Yes, sir. They definitely did.
I was
But
gonna say, in a sense, we're like at Avagachi. It's kind of like, in a sense, we have a social aspect to Avagachi as well. So, I think it'd be interesting to see, like, what kind of media do you guys see being integrated into the Gotchiverse? And I don't mean like anytime soon, because obviously you're building a lot, you're shipping a lot. But in the future, what kind of media could you see being possibly integrated into like parcels? For example, like, do you see video or audio, NFT media,
Well,
any?
definitely, yeah. The current, like, one of the ones we're going to ship initially is going to be the NFT display NFT. So it's an NFT itself, it's an installation. And so you'll put that NFT installation, NFT display on your parcel. And the idea is that it's going to display, you'll be able to like customize what NFT you want to display that's in your wallet on that NFT display. And then when someone is on, walking by your parcel, they'll be able to they'll be able to view the NFT. And then the way I kind of think it would be cool is if they could walk on top of the NFT display, and it would kind of, only for that user, it would kind of pop up and show the information about the NFT, and they could even click and go, if it's in the bazaar, they could go buy it. If it's on OpenSea, they could go buy it there.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
If it's a audio MP3, like audio NFT, they could play it, they could listen to it. If it's a video, they could view it. So that would be probably like the first native media that we'll have in the Gotchiverse.
That's really cool that you'll be able to access all that stuff eventually through media, through dApps and stuff, or I guess through installations as well that you can build. That's so cool. Yeah, I really look forward to the Gotchiverse. Like, even when it starts out, there's going to be a lot of channeling. It seems like I don't think the harvesters will be on right away, right? So I think we'll be doing a lot of channeling overall, right? When we first start out, kind of.
So the first release that we're going to be doing in March, that's the estimated time that we're going to try to stick to as much as possible. It's going to be a pretty it's kind of like, think of it as the debut of Alchemica, and kind of the debut of having this live area where everyone can run around and kind of grab Alchemica, because we're picking a district that doesn't have any sales yet, so no one owns any of the parcels in it, and so you won't be able to like run to your parcel yet, because there's still a couple things we need to implement on the Gotchiverse side, and also on the blockchain side, before we can have actually like harvesters harvesting and alchemical altar installations and stuff. But there's gonna be some cool things that you will definitely be able to do in the first version that are gonna be pretty lit, and will definitely give you a good standing in the Gotchiverse to come. So you're definitely it's gonna be a fun experience, I think, for sure. That first release.
Heard it here first.
These iterative releases, it's nice. I almost think of this first one as like the early bird special. It's like the early bird Gotchiverse.
Yeah, is there some kind of document we gotta sign first in order to get the early bloomer status?
Yeah, we won't do it like them. I think everybody will be able to come on in.
Yeah, one rumor I did hear how the Lens protocol would link up with the Aave community would be that the Aave might be the governance token for the Lens protocol. So that's one kind of concrete way that they may be interlaced.
Well,
Yeah, I
Lens,
mean,
yeah, maybe. Lens is it's a 4-letter word, perfect for a token name. But maybe,
That too.
yeah, maybe. I guess you could have both somehow.
Hey, real quick, guys, I gotta pop off. It was fun hanging out with you guys. I wanted to post real quickly that I am gonna be posting Gotchi meme NFTs. I posted my first one. I'm just gonna be giving it out to someone that follows and comments whatever I say in my tweet for free. So if anyone wants a free Gotchi meme NFT that I'm gonna be creating until the Gotchi First is live, yeah, just check out my Twitter. I'm posting it in the chat now.
Nice.
But yeah, I gotta go, guys. Have a great weekend. Fun hanging out with you guys as always. Take care.
meme
Have a good one,
NFTs.
Meme NFTs.
Nice. Later.
Later, Addison.
Nice.
Peace.
Nice. That's good to see.
Yeah, fresh NFTs, fresh memes.
You can mint badges on Polygon now. So like you know how you have POAP on layer 1, they're minted on XDAI. You can
Yeah.
actually mint badges on Polygon on this app called Migo. And it's actually a Polygon partnership. McCallum, actually, one of the Gotchi brothers, he kind of showed me this, and it's this dApp. You can just basically mint any NFT into like a badge. So like if we were to give that out for like sig props or something, I think that'd be really cool. Or like for hangouts or something, like to have a badge. For
Well,
sure.
it's yeah, maybe, I mean, anyone can mint it. Yeah, maybe no
Oh.
future could do it, or
I'll drop the link. Yeah, one of us
me.
could do it
That's cool. Migo. That's
with
it's
your
so
bud-
weird that XI or that POAP has never launched on Polygon. It's like so strange.
Yeah, I think POAP would do really well on Polygon, but Migo is here to do that. And the cool thing with Migo is you can print any size because POAP's really specific. They're kind of like 500 by 500. It has to be round. There's certain criteria you need to mint that badge. Whereas on Polygon, you could create like a poster, and it could be like a square poster or rectangle poster or whatever, and you can still mint that as a badge and give that out. So it's a little better that way.
Nice. Oh, see, I was spelling it wrong. I was like, where is Migo? Like, I literally cannot find this thing.
I dropped the link in the
Yeah, no, I just saw it. I was spelling it MIGO. I was like Amigo.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And actually, one of the first NFTs minted on Migo is actually an Avagachi NFT that McCallum minted, and it was for I think it was for one of our Gotchi spaces. But like you can literally look on there right now, and there aren't too many NFTs minted on there. There's like I think it's like India Chess Club. There's like a few just like clubs that give out like certificate of achievement, like on these Polygon related workshops and whatnot. But other than that, there aren't too many NFTs on there. So it's kind of like if you mint some Avagachi NFTs on there, you'll have like an OG badge Polygon. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
Trying
good
to
to be
load
aware
their
of.
DApp site. It's really slow for me. Maybe it's just my
Mhm.
weird connection here.
China problems.
Yeah. She's blocking me.
You should start a new YouTube channel that's just China problems, and you can have it specifically be related to your internet experience.
Yeah. Just me just be like, oh man, it's not working again. That's a 3-second video.
Yeah, just you rotating servers. You're like, all right, let's try another VPN.
Now the one I got now, it's really the only issue I have typically is with Discord and audio. Like with big calls, it really is it's messy.
Have you ever
Google Meet.
tried Mysterium? It's a VPN. It's like a crypto VPN. I hear that they're like good for
No.
China.
My VPN's great. It works amazing. It's like a no branded VPN. It's pretty hot. It's powered by Shadow Socks.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was great to hear. It's. I got a hot VPN. It's powered by Shadow Socks. Shadowy, super shadow coder socks.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. I gotta get that now.
That's a great name. Guys, I'm gonna hop off here first. Start the morning, and I see Goobs has come up, so I'll tag out with Goobs.
Hey, got you, gang. How's it going?
All right. Later.
Hey,
Go.
dude.
Hey, Goobs.
Later.
Was hoping I could just pop in here and plug an event my guild had last night.
Plug it, dude.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
For sure.
We hosted our first Gotchas Hold'em poker game, and we're gonna do a weekly poker game for everyone. It's gonna be more wide than the guild eventually, and it's gonna be so you buy an NFT token for entry for the whole month, and you get to play once a week. And there's 3 prizes for first, second, and third. And those will be like NFT wearables and tickets and all that.
Nice. How are you playing the game? Like, is it like a Discord game, or is it like a website, or tell us about it?
Yeah, just an app. We just tested it out last night, so we just tried out one app. So I'm gonna go through a couple different apps, just where you can create your own sort of group and have your own games.
Fun. That's cool. Sounds like you thought a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty degen, so I love any type of way to put some money on the table.
I'm sure you'll be right. You're right at home with lots of the people here.
Yeah, I think you might be the first poker club in the Gotchiverse, actually, which is pretty cool.
I know the team's not a huge fan of the whole straight gambling stuff, but we're gonna do it in a safe way where everyone has fun and win some prizes.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I like how the goal is to win prizes and just have a good time. I think a lot of people would be attracted to that. So, okay, so with these poker games, how do you guys usually play it? Is it through like an app that you're using, or like through Discord, or like how do you?
Yeah, just an app, just a poker app right now.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool one day, right? If this could be integrated into some kind of a DApp where you could, like you said, as long as it's in a safe kind of, decent way, to have it on a DApp would be pretty cool on your parcel and have like a poker night.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be cool to make it decentralized for sure. That's the plan eventually.
Yeah, I
know
mean, you'd have to start that kind of like to put it on the blockchain like that.
Mm-hmm. I know Decentraland has they have like a huge casino or something like that. You can go in and play these different games.
I'm gonna pop some of the links and the graphics in chat here.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I didn't have much else to say other than that. I appreciate you guys inviting me up to plug that a bit.
Dude, I love your like mafia. Gotchi, dude. Kills it. Your Al Capone.
Yeah, so do you wanna actually plug your guild too? Because you said you're part of a guild, right? Or you run a guild?
Yeah, the Gotcha Gang Mafia. I'll throw the Discord invite up there in a sec too.
Yeah, give it to us all. All of it to us.
dope.
Excuse me.
Yeah. I think I've seen under the guild section in the wiki, your guild's listed there. Is there like a specific district you guys are in right now, or?
Yeah, well, we've been sort of like hiding in the shadows a bit to not really unveil guild plans. So we are coming out with our district and our wearables and stuff soon, and fully marketing to the masses now.
Oh, that's really cool, man. Happy to hear that. I know
Yeah,
you're one of
thanks,
like
bro.
the OG Gotcha gang, so it's cool to see that.
Gang, Gotcha Gang for life.
That's right.
Love to see it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see kind of like what the guilds are going to develop as far as parcels. I think every guild has its own like little plans, ideas around what they're going to do with their parcels. There's a lot of land in the Gotchiverse.
This is just like that next level of World of Warcraft, you know? You got like 20, 25 like people that spend too much time playing video games and get like super coordinated at doing something complicated, but really it's just like making money over here in crypto. So like It's gonna be crazy. People are gonna probably establish some pretty complicated operations over like years.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I was just thinking about that the other day, looking at some of the recipes for, the Alchemica recipes and the allotments for Alchemica. We know we have more information on that now. So I think it'll be a priority probably for a lot of guilds to try and collect as much Alchemica as possible so they can actually build a lot of this stuff. Because I've played games like this before where, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but it seems like maybe the first couple levels when you're building a structure might be fairly easy. It might not take a lot of time, but it scales up real quick. And then you need significantly more resources and more time for like the later structures. Is that right? Is it gonna work like that? Oh.
Yeah,
It's-
guys,
yeah,
I'm BRB, but yeah, I'll post in the hangout here.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, dude. It's
It'd
I
be
don't know.
interesting.
I'm excited about the Dan's now shit posting. Classic. No, but I'm excited for the potential Easter eggs. I have no idea what they are, but I do love Easter eggs.
Oh, you mean for the next test?
Yeah, or just there's always Easter eggs. Game devs make Easter eggs. That's like their favorite thing to do.
Right. So I mean, like to find you think we'll find those quite a bit in like the Gotchaverse in general?
Oh, for sure. Like little bits of like um weird thing, just like unusual things to find. I mean, it's like an MMO, right? And it's like an open world, so there's going to be all different parts of the world to explore, and it's going to feel like I'm sure there's going to be unique experiences all over the place. Whether it's like through an NPC or like through, I mean, just like traditional stuff you find in games, like maybe it's like combat or like mini games you can play with each other. Like I have no idea what they're going to build. It could be anything.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was interesting to start reading the Gotchi stats and getting into that a little bit. It was really, uh, it brought a lot of personality to my Avagotchis. I think I realized I have like a pack of archers now. So like all
Pack
my
of
Gotchis
archers.
oh yeah, I got a bunch of high brain Gotchis.
Oh, I
And
see.
they high brain and low aggressiveness.
Well, hey, dude, the traits are still under hot debate.
Yeah, and I mean things could change quite a bit. I think there's definitely some traits that maybe might not change a whole lot. Like I like it seems that there's a lot of good consensus around the energy trait.
Yeah.
People seem to agree across the board that a high energy Avagachi should have really fast or faster movement speed. Compared to a low energy Gachi, it should have a higher carrying capacity. So I don't know. Like I personally think that's a good way to kind of balance that one. But
Yeah.
definitely the other three are kind of they're up for debate.
Feels like specifically range. Oh yeah, there's a good thread. Somebody just put the link in the chat for people talking about like what their seems like range damage. People want it fixed somehow.
There's a very extensive post, I think.
Oh
That's
my
what.
gosh, dude! There's so many. There's 100 posts on this thread.
Oh my god, dude.
There's almost not. This is. I think this might be one of the most active DAO threads ever. I know that we've gone over 100 before, but there's only been a couple times.
Oh, Coder Dan's asking. He's is looking handsome on the call, or Action or Notorious BTC. I mean, if you guys are down there, just we'll get you on stage and definitely talk about that.
Dude,
I'm curious to know more, like what people think about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent like some time reading it, but it's definitely there's some people that are like posting some pretty in-depth arguments, and like it'd be interesting to know how they actually feel like it could be improved.
Yeah, and get that broken down a little bit. I'd love to hear that. I mean, if not today, another time too. I'd love to actually, interview somebody who's kind of really into this, talking about game mechanics. I read that, I did a quick like once over with it, and I kind of got lost in the weeds, man. It was a little bit too much for me to digest, but
Yeah,
I
that,
could
that dude
see.
wrote like a thesis, like a full report, which I did read a good majority of. I think he made some really interesting points. I did, but the interesting part at the end of his post, he wrote like his conclusion was that he didn't think the traits needed to be changed. Like he thought they were okay. That's my takeaway, I guess. But I mean, there was like
Yeah.
a lot of discussion getting to that point. And so that, I mean, it'd be super interesting if someone wants to like do an interview with him or like get him if he wants to come up on the stage if he's on the call. I'd love to hear how all the thought process that went into that because I mean it is a lot to balance and take in and there's the game the hard part of it is that the game isn't even live yet and we also don't have the capacity quite yet to do gameplay testing but the good news is we are planning to have like a kind of a sandbox that will be available for the community to play and you'll be able to basically play as like god mode and simulate what the traits like you'll be able to play as different gotchis with different traits and see how they feel. So we're kind of need to play test together because like we're only a small team of like 20 devs, and there's no way we can. I think I was listening to a podcast the other day. They were talking about like if you have 10,000 players and you put out something for an hour, you have 10,000 hours of stress testing, right? Just in
Yeah.
1 hour. We can't really match that as a small team.
But
And
if you
so,
open something up and let
yeah.
everyone play it, it'd be pretty easy to figure out what you need to change. You just take all the people, all the people that everyone's playing and nerf them, and all the people that nobody's playing and buff them.
It'll be pretty apparent pretty quickly which characters are massively OP. So I can't promise we're gonna deliver that this month because there's still a lot of development going into scaling and also like being able to support different weapons and traits and things. But that will definitely we want to have that before we confirm the traits 100% and in the first like release of the traits, we definitely want to have a big game-wide, player-wide like test where everyone can come in and we can get a feel together for how these traits are going to feel. But I know, I mean, the market is the other thing. The fact that these gotchis already exist and people might be making decisions based on the traits that we've published already. Obviously, we put in very, very strong words that these traits might change and people should not make serious financial decisions on them because they are not 100% confirmed yet. But the market's going to do what the market's going to do, and people are going to trade on them. But they again, like hopefully people aren't putting too much emphasis on the current traits because they might change, especially after we do like a play test. So all the discussion that's happening right now is great, and if we can get to a consensus even before we do a play test, we could run that model and we could run some different models in the play test to kind of see, are the traits we currently have not gonna work? I know people have been talking about carrying capacity versus energy maybe is like not strong enough. Maybe carrying capacity doesn't need to be a core trait. I think it's pretty cool to be a core trait, and I think it has a lot of value in there. But if it maybe in gameplay turns out, it's really not, it's not that great. Maybe there's something better we could do. So this is a huge, huge process, and we are a fairly small team, and we are. I think we can really try to leverage everyone in the community and everyone's experience, and try to create this. The other thing is that like we also need to decide at this stage like what kind of game is Avagachi, it's really not like a full-fledged MMORPG at this stage. It's still kind of like a pretty primitive farming game. And so I've seen some people saying like, when are we going to have targeting systems or nukes and support and like all the casting? And I think all that stuff is super cool. It's just at this stage we're still kind of just a blockchain farming game that has the potential to eventually become more, but it's going to take some time to build all that kind of stuff out as well. It's not like we're not going to launch day one and have like a full-fledged MMORPG.
You asked an interesting question, and it was, what do all of us think Avagachi should be as a game?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really interesting question. It's something I've been thinking about lately, but I kind of draw on my experience of the kind of games I used to play. I occasionally still play with RuneScape. I really enjoy playing RuneScape, and I've never fully been able to put my finger on why, but I think I kind of, in a sense, do know. I think the thing that makes people keep going back to that game, they've been around for 20 years. The game hasn't changed very much at all, like in terms of graphics or anything like that. What made people keep going back is getting involved in the story and the lore, and there's like literally like hundreds of quests you can do in RuneScape. Like hundreds. All going from like really easy novice quests, like, oh, you go to this guy, you talk to this NPC, you get this little thing, and then you go to another one and you get another thing, and it's like a recipe, you put it together, and and then you have to go deliver this cake or something, like a small quest like that, all the way up to, there's this big monster in a dungeon in this cave, and it's like a big whole thing to get there, and you have to collaborate with a bunch of people because you won't be able to kill it by yourself. And it's like this whole thing, and you gotta, it's a process to finish the quest. And I think that's what really got me going back to keep engaging with it, because even till today, they're still releasing new quests every now and then.
Right.
They'll do a Christmas quest, a Halloween quest, and so I'll log on during Christmas time and I'll do their Christmas quest just to get the free item. I guess in a sense it's kind of like an NFT because it's a very exclusive item that you get for doing the Christmas quest, for example. And it might not do anything in terms of stats or anything like that. It's just an item, and maybe later on it's used for something. But just doing those little quests to get those little scarce items, it's like a little treasure hunt, and it never ends. And I think that's what kind of always kept me going back. But then with Avagachi, I kind of imagined that, but now the items actually are tradable and have real world value and are also traceable. I think that's really incredible.
Yeah, I like what you said, capturing the treasure hunt experience. Like, but also in a way where it's got to be like, I think that if you get like in a way where it can be competitive, but it can also be casual for people, like having the diversity of experience, where like maybe you don't want like all of your funds on the line, like when you're playing the game, or like even a little bit of your funds on the, like there's gonna be a lot of players that are like, I'm a strict farmer gotchi. I don't need to be worried about any risk, But then there's gonna be like, obviously you have like the more intense gameplay that's more exciting, and there's going to be gamers that like that, and like they're going to want the risk, and like they're going to want to try and be good at it, and like they're going to want to have things be more complicated, and like also have and I think that since we're focusing on like the farming element first, just making sure that it's fair for everyone, trying to distribute like future content. I mean, like really what it is content, because all of our tokens are used for content at the end of the day. It's like their core use case. I think that just making sure that that's fair with the traits is most important. But as far as what game I'd like to see, like, I mean, it'd be awesome to see like where we have like this Clash of Clans-esque like tower defense scenario that you can sort of operate on, but you can also play the other role, which is like the raider like type role, where you can try and like take them down, and then having that be like a fun sort of gameplay loop in and of itself, just like sort of like dungeoneering or whatever it is in RuneScape, where like you have like the little like dungeon, and maybe it changes a little bit based on what the environment is and who's building it, but like you know sort of what things do what, and like you can sort of brainstorm your way to take down whatever whale or whatever like appropriately sized target you're going for to get whatever appropriately sized like loot reward. Because I mean, like if you're building in a dangerous zone, like you have your building materials at risk, and then like if you're trying to take down like one of these, you know, one of these bases that either an organization or a player like sets up, like you should be able to identify based on like your vision, like how you stumble upon one of these structure like arrangements, and like know like, okay, well this is obviously too strong for me. Like me and my buddies need to go like try and mess up these guys over here. Like, but maybe they don't have that much at risk because like and their stuff's weaker.
I think I think what you're kind of saying is like player versus environment versus player, right? Like PvP versus
Yeah.
the PvE aspect of things. You know, there'll be players that just like to do the PvE where, you know, they're just like farming Alchemica in a nice safe place, and they really just enjoy the process of picking up the Alchemica, gathering as much as they can. It's some people think it's you know, a grind and they don't enjoy it. Other people find it relaxing. Like
Yeah.
I personally enjoy collecting, you know, items and stuff, and then just banking it and going back and forth. There's a lot of that in RuneScape as well. But like with the quests, I think another interesting Avagachi could do with the quests, if they decide to ever implement that, is it would be a good way to burn Alchemica if there's ever too much Alchemica kind of circulating. Is you could create a quest where you have to collect a certain amount of different kinds of Alchemica and bring it to a certain point or find a certain NPC, and then maybe you might be able to craft a very unique item out of that Alchemica that you could only get for a certain period of time during a special quest or something, you know.
Yeah. I see like the most important, one of the most important parts of like having any successful game is making sure that like, especially nowadays, is making sure that you can have a user show up with nothing and gather something, you know, and from the experience, like just having a takeaway, like if they've earned literally anything, maybe it's an NFT that they don't even realize is worth less than $1, or like it's just like something that another player wants to take from you, like pay Alchemica, pay like Ghost, you know, pay like maybe it's just something that they want but they can't even trade it to you. Like, but the whole point is that like if you can have that as like a brand spanking new user and just like not have anything, and like if you have like that desirable experience, I think that's like the most important.
Yeah, one aspect I'm looking forward to is, and I think will guide the direction of where Gotchiverse goes, is the liquidators and kind of the lore and the story that's going to go behind that. Because I mean, we are going to have a lot of PvP once the liquidators are introduced, and Act 2 will probably go. It's going to explore even more about, you know, what the liquidators are, who, and their kind of their world and that part of it. So I think definitely quests related to liquidators or related to the Gotchiverse and dungeons and things like that. Those are all on the menu. But also it's like there's just going to be this always raging battle between Gotchis and liquidators in like certain parts of the map. Especially we're going to have like one of the areas, the yield field. You guys have probably seen it on the map. That's going to be like a hotspot between Gotchis and liquidators. There's always going to be something happening there, and so there's going to be like these certain areas throughout the game that are like they have their own stories that are being told all the time. There's going to be battles being waged, and like victors and people being like kind of like a massive tug of war that's always happening. So that's kind of the EVE Online aspect of it, where you have like different kind of factions fighting against each other. Except it's just Gotchis versus liquidators.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's going to be really cool. I mean, how many games out there do you guys know that you can think of right now where the opposition, you know, the enemy is an actual player, like is an actual player on the other side that's playing as an enemy, not an NPC or not not part of the game design. It's somebody that's picking up a character and choosing to be on the
Yeah,
opposite.
it's a risky decision, but we really thought about it a lot, and we were like, the reason we kind of needed to introduce the idea of a liquidator or this kind of PvP is because, well, as the devs, we were thinking to ourselves like, we can't we have this economy. An economy needs destruction to kind of survive long term. You can't have an economy that's just up only all the time, because it's just going to devalue everything. You need to have some sinks. You need to have destruction. You need to have decay, right? But we can't as the developers like destroy people's stuff. We can't go in and be like, you know what, tsunami or hurricane Gachi comes through.
Sergey said no.
I would just destroy shit. So we're like, we can't as the devs do that. This is a blockchain game. There's real funds involved. People would sue us like for that. So it's got to be other players that are doing it, and it can't be the developers. We set the stage, but it really needs to be other players like inflicting destruction on the economy and having that push and pull between the factions. So also the liquidators just provide a great entry point, like a kind of a free to play entry point for the Gachiverse. But really, one of their main uses is like we're gonna need to we need to break shit in this economy. You can't just have in NFT economy. It's always about, you own this NFT forever and it's yours and the value's there. And we're not going to change that, of course, but there needs to be some upkeep on your NFT. You can't just, it's not something like if it's an NFT for a game, your asset, like if it's a sword, for example, not saying we would include this or we're going to, but like if in some games you use a sword and you need to like repair it. You can't just use your sword forever and expect it to stay immaculate. You need to go and take it to the blacksmith and repair it. So there's got to be this like element of an economy of destruction, of decay. Otherwise, this like these 4 tokens are just going to become completely debased.
Yeah, so a lot of use case, right?
Yeah, we need more sinks and like destruction. War is good for the economy.
Yeah, so if we're always merging data with each other, yeah, high velocity.
Yeah, I mean, I think that destructive aspect and not having control over it as devs is part of the ethos of decentralization. Like decentralize the destruction. Yeah. No, it's good.
I mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'd say like the kind of the only part that we would really have a say in, and this is something also we want to allocate to the community to control, is kind of the liquidator tap, like how many liquidators are available. And this is as we get closer to the grid and introduction of liquidators, we'll include this in the Gachiverse gameplay Bible, like some ideas for how we can regulate the introduction of liquidators. Obviously, we don't just want to have like 25,000 gachis and 5 million liquidators. That wouldn't be balanced. So we need to also balance as the community, as developers, how many liquidators are in the game at any time.
I think there should be a lore aspect tied in with that too. Like we need to talk to Friendless Summer and see how how it's handled, the lore, how the Great Liquidator approaches this. And kind of tie that in with, how are these, like you said, how are these liquidators going to be dispensed? I know there's some ideas that have been thrown around. I know Addison specifically is working on something where, you might be able to access Avagachi from physical points in the real world, like a internet cafe or, whatever, like a play point for an Avagachi. But it could also be for a liquidator as well. So like, having these little play points in, let's say, Uganda or like, these countries where Avagachi could actually be a source of income. Like playing as a liquidator might be a source of income for somebody.
Yeah.
So I think we could see a big. Actually, that's another part of the economy that I think shouldn't be overlooked is these players that they don't really, they're not really gamers per se, but it might be like someone who's like a single mom in like, a country where you don't make that much money and she's trying to support her family and she finds a game like Avagachi where you can play as a liquidator for free and make like, a couple bucks a day, with some work rather than walking like 30 miles to, pick fruit or something like that, right? So that might be
Yeah.
another huge crowd to tap into with the liquidators.
Yeah, the challenge there is that those type of players, they don't, if they just play as liquidators all the time, that like they never upgrade and like earn a gachi or even like rent a gachi. They kind of just play as liquidator forever. Like, the idea is we don't want them to just come in and take the Alchemica and then sell it for fiat and then cash out, because that's kind of what happened to a lot of the play to earn, and it's probably what will happen to some extent. I mean, it's kind of inevitable that you're going to attract players who will just want to kind of extract value.
I think
But yeah, we want to try to have a kind of a friendly enough loop for them where they can kind of get more engaged in the game, and eventually they want to own their own Avagachi. That's kind of the ultimate point.
I think that's where the guilds are going to be really, really important, and I'm so grateful to see so many different guilds that have popped up and laid their stake in the Citadel. That's going to be the core base for where someone who, like you said, is one of these players that's just grinding away and just cashing out all the Alchemica for whatever. Um, I think that's where the guild members or the people running the guild can have programs and education around that to be like, hey, you're just dumping the Alchemica and just selling it for dollars, but look at the opportunity here. Let's say if you build structures with the Alchemica or do other things with the Alchemica, and then that way they can kind of define a pathway for these players to kind of move up and actually create a better life for themselves rather than seeing the short-sighted mindset, and maybe show them the long-term mindset of, kind of give them a little bit of a business mindset in the sense of you're going to reinvest some of this and look at the return you can get and uh, create the appeal that way, but that takes a lot of organization for sure.
Yeah, guilds are going to be great, and they're going to bring a lot of players. We want to make sure that the guilds are also kind of they're going to gain a portion of the Alchemica, and we also hope that the guilds aren't just going to dump Alchemica and like use that to fund more marketing budget for more players. We want the guilds also to kind of invest in the economy, and different guilds, I'm sure, will have different ways of playing the game. And it'll be interesting to see, which ones come out on top or grow the fastest by either, reinvesting the Alchemica they get into Ghost and then getting a Gachi, or they could just go and dump it on the market and spend more on marketing new players. It's going to be interesting to see all that kind of happening in real time.
Actually, that's something I've been talking about with the 8-bit GG guild. I'm kind of I play a pretty big part of that guild, and just talking to them about how they should approach the Alchemica and their land. It's like I don't I don't think guilds should have bare lands. If you have lots of land as a guild, you have a big chunk of land that you've secured. You should build some really cool stuff on it. So I think the first order of business would be to start building structures and
Yeah.
what as lucrative as it could be, maybe to just start selling the Alchemica and making money. And I think the long-term value is greater of investing in the actual land itself. Just like when you buy a property in real life, the bare property is only as worth as much as the surrounding property around it. Unless you build something really cool on it, then
Mhm.
that's it.
And also, just like liquidators, they're not going to be a thing that you could totally rely on. You might not be able to get one every day. So at that point, you would say, well, if I want to do this every day, the liquidator is cool, but maybe I can only get one only snag one like once a week or once every few days. So hey, I'm gonna start looking at Gotchi lending, and oh, it looks like there's occasionally some like free lending that I can join in on, but even that it's not totally always available. So I'm gonna go join this guild because they're gonna have like more availability, and then the guild they're gonna say we have all these players, we don't have enough gotchis to give these guys, so we need to get more gotchis. And that's really when you see, hopefully, the effect of the guilds doubling down on their investment in the ecosystem.
Yeah, it's like once they've got that first little taste, now they really want to go all in.
Yeah.
It's interesting how guilds have approached this, like you said earlier, and it'll be interesting to see how they deploy the Alchemica. I was looking at some of these recipes, and it seems like it takes significant resources to maybe enable some of these features that we've all been talking about, how you can have guild communication and communal channeling abilities with your guild. Are some of these features going to be, are they going to require you to upgrade your structure multiple times to get that feature?
Yeah, the Gotchi Lodge especially, I think it's the most expensive currently in the game because it will also it'll be a very powerful installation. So the guilds are definitely going to want to have like the highest level Gotchi Lodge, which is going to be a great sync for the Alchemica, which they're going to earn Alchemica by having the Gotchi Lodge, but it's also a great sync in the short term for the Alchemica.
Yeah, so from an investment perspective for a guild, that would be really something to think about is, do you want to set your lodge up right away? Because that might require you to all kind of band together as a guild. Because, I was looking at how many resources you need for that, and it's a pretty large amount. I don't know if one gotchi alone could, amount to that in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think, and also it takes a long time to build too. It's like I have to check the recipe book, but it's like I think it's a lot of blocks, and so if you're trying to fast track it, you'd want to have a significant amount of glamour, or whatever we end up calling it. I'm personally calling it glitter token at this point. The Gotchi what is it? The Gotchi liquidity token reward, because we can't use glamour anymore. But I'm kind of calling it glitter, but I still don't know if that's the final name.
Gold.
It's gold.
Gotchi gold.
Yeah, maybe.
GG.
You want to have a lot of that resource.
Yeah.
To fast track it.
I like it.
Al says on market buys of Alchemical, will the GAX be up and running? So the the initial release is probably not going to have the GAX up because it is a pretty big undertaking to launch our own little, even if it's a small DEX, it is still a DEX. So we're going to try to have that up by the main Gotchiverse release when we have like harvesters and installations. But we're gonna have a little surprise for you guys for the initial release. That could be pretty interesting. So you're definitely gonna have something to do with your Alchemica. You're not just gonna have to sit on it or trade it on QuickSwap.
That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. But we have a stress test coming up on the 15th, right? Is that?
Yeah, we'll be announcing that, and I mean it's I think it's in one of our docs, but yeah, we are going to be announcing that for sure. It'll be on Tuesday the 15th, and that's going to be a big world. It's going to be the whole district, which is kind of different than the previous ones, which were just like a small sliver of a district.
Wow, yeah, I thought even I think it was 1/7 of a district last time. I thought even that was quite large.
Yeah, this is when we kind of realized, like, oh shit, this Citadel is pretty big.
It'll be, and you said there's going to be some real parcels, but they won't be player parcels.
Yeah, it's the real district, we're going to add a little bit of stuff just so it's not totally boring. But it will be like the roads and everything will be exactly the same as the actual district in the Citadel.
That's exciting. The very first look.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to get that first look at the real deal, and I'm probably gonna get my fastest gotchi and see how long it takes for me to get from one side to the other side, because that's the other thing I'm kind of curious about. Is I really want to know in terms of time how long it will take for me to get from let's say like District 40 over to the other side, District what is it, 28, I think, on the other side where the DAO Square is, just like across the length of the map. I wonder how long it would take to navigate.
Yeah.
That's like one of the most exciting parts of playing an open world game for the first time, though. It's just like getting like down to like how long it takes you to get from one side to the other side. It's just like, oh, dude, this world's amazing. There's so much potential for fun
Yeah.
packed in there. It's gonna be exciting to have like, just for the first time, there's so much engagement between game community and like game development, because the players are, in this instance, like, you know, the owners of the brand, and like distributed obviously, and like, you know, there's rights and process to all of the layers of how that works. But like eventually you're going to have like sizable enough game where you have like a whole platform for these players and community members to contribute with whatever they've got going on, you know, on a personal level. And with this whole Web3 revolution going on, there's going to be like tons of simpler ways for people to build. That's just gonna be exciting.
Yeah, I'm
So
really excited for the NPCs that we're gonna have.
Oh yeah, gonna build that out for sure.
is Pixelcraft gonna be building their own NPCs, and you know, in addition to whatever else other people might be building?
Yeah, we need to build a few just to have the like the developer SDK. We need to build it before we can make the SDK for it. So we're already kind of planning a couple NPCs that hopefully we should have a couple, at least one in the initial release.
You guys are starting to think about that SDK. Are you still thinking about like using Phaser and everything for it, or thinking about it?
Well, the game itself is in Phaser, yeah, but the idea for the SDK is it's something that people can kind of plug in to the game and build like an NPC character within the game. Obviously, it could be more than that. It could be a link to an external website, but the kind of the native kind of DApp would be an NPC within the game that you could talk with and like interact with and do stuff with on Web3. So you could make a swap on Quick Swap, or go deposit something into Aave, or go over to Good Ghosting and like do your savings deposit without even leaving the Gotchiverse.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. Like I feel like you could build that process really in, right? Where you have like, you just, as a user, no technical knowledge, you make an NPC, and then you take that NPC like and go to whatever website you want it to interface with, and like just have it gather the smart contract, like do whatever
The
you want the
API,
NPC,
yeah.
have the NPC learn what you want it to do, and then just turn it into a function for whoever wants to use it.
Yeah, it's really just it's a very simple like micro front end. Like it probably wouldn't do a lot, but it would be kind of cool to have as a product in, like, if you're good ghosting, or if you're even the Gotchi Vault, right? The Gotchi Vault could say, we're gonna have here's our Gotchi Vault NPC, and it's basically just a micro front end for our contracts. We got the ABI and everything. It's gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
Say, I want to deposit my Gotchi. Which one do you want to deposit? Go and select your Gotchis.
What I want is, I want to be able to like take my stuff and like perform functions on it, and then like have it never leave the escrow of my Gotchi other than like through smart contract operation. Then it's like not even a taxable event, right?
Well, I guess that depends, you know.
It depends on what you do with them, right? Or does it depend on?
I don't know.
I don't know if there's any tax specialists on the call.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's kind of hard to comment on that, but you
True.
know, it definitely brings up some interesting ideas, around that stuff.
Yeah.
What was my question? Oh, I was gonna say I recently tried to connect my wallet to the Aavegotchi DApp, and I saw a
Mhm.
Coinbase thing. Um,
Yeah.
are we gonna be part of Coinbase pretty soon? Is that already a thing?
Well, yeah, we just recently pushed this new component. It's I wrote a little update in dev updates the other day, and it's before we were using Web3 modal, which is like a super outdated Web3 component that it's still being used, but it really should just die because they're not updating it anymore. So we spent about it's taken about a month to build up this new component from the ground up. And so it's a lot easier to support a lot of other wallets now, where it's using Web3 React, which is like a lower level hook that is part of like the it's its own like library. So that allows us to have more support for wallets that Web3 Modal didn't support. So we did launch it with Coinbase, and they kind of reached out to us before. They were like, "Hey, could you guys add Coinbase?" And so yeah, sure, why not? Well, so we added Coinbase, and I mean that it doesn't that there's no relation between that and potential Coinbase listing for
Yeah.
Ghost.
Right.
But,
You
I
can't
mean,
just be like, hey, can you guys add Ghost? GHST.
Might as well while you're at
yeah. Well, once you guys fix whatever big hack you're working through, could you guys add Ghost?
it.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I mean, we are like working with them. We have a conversation.
That'll be
But
cool
yeah.
to see when the time comes, for sure.
It's only a matter. They're all gonna want us. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, we'll get Ghost, and then we'll unload the FUD, the FOMO, the Alpha, the Keck. We'll get them all. That's our plan with Aave. We gotta get AM FUD, AM FOMO, AM Alpha, AM Keck, AM Glamour.
Let's
Get 'em
vote
all.
on it. Let's
Yeah.
get that
We-
PP power out.
We're gonna own the Polygon market on Aave. It's a gotcha gang.
See, I wanted it to go the other way, where like Polygon gets like insanely active, and like there's a ton of different communities where like maybe we're still the biggest game in town, but like we have 10% market share or whatever because there's so much diversity.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
think
know
that's the
Polygon
best. Would be the best case.
for sure.
Polygon's looking for ambassadors, I guess. It's like Polygon guilds that you can start for meetups. And they're willing to give funding out for like, supporting your meetups, whatever kind of costs, as long as they're reasonable. I think they'll give you funding for it. And so you can sign up. I think Mike Callum would be the person to reach, like he knows quite a bit around this stuff, but yeah, that's really cool that, people in their own local areas are now starting these Polygon guilds to kind of get the awareness out around Polygon, which is kind
Yeah.
of crazy because it's like we're Avagachi, we're on Polygon, but Polygon's just trying to still now get the awareness out that Polygon even exists out there, so people
Mhm.
know what Polygon is.
They have
We're
a great
early.
budget. They have plenty of money for it. They're pretty flush with cash. So, I think we're in good hands as long as they have all their new like tech products coming out with roll ups and scaling. I'm
Yeah,
pretty comfy with Polygon.
they've had some pretty big cash injections lately from
Institutions.
what was
Yeah.
the firm? Was it Goldman Sachs? I can't remember. One of those big ones.
450 mil. Yeah, who's that?
One of
Like,
those
was
big
it?
banks.
It was a lot though. It was bigger than any of the other side chain layer 2, whatever you want to call them, like scaling solutions for Ethereum at the end of the day, all of them. Any of the successful ones anyways.
I do feel like Avagachi though is going to be like the base gaming layer on Polygon. Like a lot of people that come to Polygon are going to know Avagachi for one reason or the other.
Yeah.
Either they've participated in an event, or they know about the raffles, or they participate in the raffles, or they participate in some part of the economy. I think it's going to be a shared experience among gamers on Polygon. Like Avagachi is like Polygon OG culture, if you ask me.
Yeah. I'd say so. I want to see it where like Ghost is like the only stable coin for all these games. I think that'd be like amazing if like the DAO is so active and useful as like a DAO tool that everyone just plugs their DAO into our DAO and we become like the ultimate PP DAO. I think that would be awesome.
You guys, I'll give you a little bit of alpha here before I drop off.
Oh, now we're talking.
Give me 1 sec here. I gotta change something in the image.
This stage has got so much better.
Okay, I'm back.
Working on a little stuff here. This month is the amount of stuff being shipped this month is pretty insane, and I really hope we can get all of it. But there's so much. This is hopefully going to be part of it. Smart contracts are getting pretty close. We made kind of a decision internally to push this a little faster. Because if you look at the chapter 1, we actually mentioned Gotchi lending being part of like after the main release. But actually, this is the wrong UI. Let me post the other one. The other one's better. But we're working on the final UI here for Gotchi lending.
Oh, damn.
The listings kind of in the people being able to go through and check listings for. This is just some random UIs that we got.
Ship a Metro. Shipiometro, whatever it's called. Nice.
Oh, that's really cool.
So, I mean, the idea is that if we wait till after the initial release, like we're gonna kind of miss the boat as far as potentially bringing on new users. So we're gonna try to get Gotchi lending shipped before that initial release in March.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of work, but I think it'll pay off because we'll have.
Tell them they're getting in early. That's all you got to tell them. It's gonna be. I mean, you're saying you're already having opportunity for people to gather stuff. So.
Like, if we don't have it, then people they're gonna look at it and be like, I want to play, but I can't afford $1,000 for a Gotchi, but I just want to play. So we think it's definitely worth like prioritizing this feature.
It looks nice. It looks nice already.
I love how you guys created the UI. It's so simple. You understand exactly what you're getting with the Gotchi when you're looking at it. It says, okay, I'm gonna give 40% as the owner, borrower 50%. What's other 10%?
So other is like for a guild. Yeah, so if you are a guild and you create this listing, you'll be able to put a percentage there, and you'll be able to put a wallet for where you want those funds to go. So that's kind of like the guild tax, right? If you're a guild and you have a lot of Gotchis, then you could put this other here. That's kind of what the listing is. When you actually go to create it, it's going to look something like this. And that's part 1, and then part 2, you're going to have this. Make sure there's nothing sensitive in there before I ship it.
Matt, this is big brain time. All right.
Oh, damn, that's really cool.
This is kind of what it'll look like, and you'll have a whitelist as well. The whitelist is if you're a guild and you only want to have the people in your guild being able to kind of like execute the listing, then that whitelist ID is just it's basically an on-chain list of addresses. And so you would just put in the ID of your guild's list, and then only people from that guild will be able to execute the listing.
Awesome.
That is very cool. It's just so well integrated. I mean, I expect nothing less from you guys, but that's awesome. It's
Well,
really
Yeah.
simple. The UI is like really easy to understand when you look at it. You're not really
Mhm.
asking yourself where the profits and stuff are gonna go. It tells you right there. So
Yeah, and you can also you'll be able to tap on the different tokens. So if you wanna, if for example you don't wanna share your ghost, that would be the use case there is like if we're doing rarity farming season, and your Avagachi receives a bunch of ghosts, but you don't want that ghost to go to the borrower. So you would just click that ghost, tap it to disable sharing of that token.
yeah, I think the ghost and the keck will always be turned off for my gotchis. That all goes to me.
seriously, you'll be. Oh yeah, I guess you'll be able to like to sort of have just a totally customizable lending borrowing experience. It's gonna be
You
awesome.
guys did a really good job with this.
Yeah, thanks.
Everything's just leagues above like all the other opportunity out there. It's crazy. It makes it like so much more juicy like to get in early because of how there's still like so much just complication around the new technology available for like making platforms and stuff. Obviously like there is like the cost like limitation factor where like you have to have like a certain amount of money to even get like an Avagachi full. But even then it's like I would say that like basically the first world countries it's not like an unaffordable investment to make. Like it's basically like an entry level investment in most of the developed world. It's actually a lot easier of a investment ladder to get on than a lot of the other like traditional investments with like IP opportunity. Pretty exciting. Exciting times. All these things right around the corner. I'm excited to see a whole district. It's gonna be awesome.
I just drop one more little bit of alpha. I can't say anything more than that yet, but you
Oh
guys
damn.
can check my tweet.
Oh yeah.
So much
I-
alpha.
I saw the tweet. Can't say much more than that.
That actually wraps things up pretty good. I mean, this hangout was it was dense, man. Lots of good alpha, lots of good information. I'm probably gonna go back and listen to some of it, even though I was part of it. Um, lots of good stuff to like just think about over, and we're all a big part of Avagachi, so I think it's important to think about how we can all play a role going forward, because I think everybody's gonna have a role doing
Yeah.
something important. So yeah,
Start
I
the
think we're really
conversation more is the best place to start.
yeah, exactly. And
What'd you do this Saturday? Oh yeah, I just did some nerdy stuff with my friends. You want to hear about it?
yeah, I mean, one day people will be asking you how to rent a gotchi. I mean, they'll be
Yeah,
like, dude, you
very
own a
soon, probably.
gotchi? Like, what? Like, you get this response of people that are like, oh, you own a Bored Ape. Like, whoa, that's crazy. But then, not long from now, I feel like people will have that same kind of reaction. Like, oh, damn, you own some Avagotchis. Like, holy crap. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
You know?
or they're like the haunt ones, or however it goes. I mean, like, it's gonna be a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, if it right now for me, if it's, I have to decide between buying a really nice watch or buying like a nice Avagachi, I'm buying a nice Avagachi. So
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that seems to be the way the world's going to. So I think we're all on the right track.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't have much more to say for this hangout. I mean, I know, Dan, you were saying you're probably going to exit stage left pretty soon, but are there any announcements besides the upcoming
Stress test.
yeah, are there any other announcements that you want to make?
Yeah, we'll make an official announcement probably for that tomorrow. Just gotta reconfirm one more time with our engineer team. A little bit, we haven't publicly released this yet either, but part of the launch of the Alchemica is we're gonna be deploying. You guys have probably read there's a vesting contract, right? There's actually 2 vesting contracts. and there's 4 Alchemica, and those Alchemica are going to be vested in the ecosystem and gameplay. And so, I mean, those are really like, we as Pixelcraft don't want to have custody of that ecosystem like vesting contract, because just like really legal reasons, and also just because we don't feel we should have custody of it. So we are going to be putting out an announcement in the next couple days. We want to create a community multi-sig which has a lot of signers, like at least 15 signers on this community multi-sig, because there's going to be a lot of funds held by it. And this community multi-sig could be used just for this purpose, or it could also be used for like, I know Dr. Wagney is working on this proposal for 3 million ghosts to be deposited into Aave. And again, that's really something we don't have on-chain DAO transfers yet. Like all the ghosts is still held by us currently, and we want to start moving away from that. So this multi-sig could be also the custodian of those funds, but it doesn't have to be. That would be kind of an optional thing. So we're going to make a DAO thread about that probably in the next couple of days. We're just kind of working through the post. But yeah, I mean, so the announcement really is, if you're potentially interested in being a signer on a multi-sig, probably you really won't have to do that much. The main role of this ecosystem vesting, the Alchemica vested within it, is going to be providing liquidity on dexes, including the GAX, but also including other dexes, to kind of help the liquidity of the Alchemica and make sure that we have good liquidity on various exchanges, dexes, Mainnet, Polygon, could even be other places as well. So that's kind of one of the main use cases of the ecosystem. Alchemica, it's kind of, I like to think of it as like kind of protocol owned liquidity in a way, to use the terms of Ohm. But so yeah, we do not want to have custody of that, and we really want the community to have custody of it. So if you are potentially interested in that, just be looking out on the DAO forum for that post, and we want to have an election just like we've had for other like multi-sigs and committees. So yeah, well, you'll just want to put your name, and there's as far as like restrictions, because it is just a multi-sig, there's no nationality restrictions or anything. So obviously we want to have trusted community members, people who aren't going to want to be tempted by this amount, and also just we want to have enough people that even if 4 people or 5 people got together, they still wouldn't be able to rug the multi-sig. So
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for that. I'll probably definitely consider that. And if you are a community member that's been around for a while, you should definitely consider that. I think it's a very low effort thing to secure the funds, and I think it's a good thing to do. So as far as announcements for me, so we got a regular Gachi space tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for anybody that wants to join. It's always a open stage, so like if you have something to say, you're part of a guild, you want to share your story, just let me know. You can be a speaker, and yeah, I look forward to it. And then tonight, with the 8-Bit Gamers Guild, I will probably be live streaming a portal opening. So they'll be opening one H2 portal. Try and make it kind of short, like 20 minutes, and just kind of talk about the traits and stuff. And that's kind of fun. So check that out. And the 8-Bit Gamers Guild is also having a membership raffle right now. So if you check out my tweet, I did like a thread. You can check that out, and it has some information in there. Or you can just head over to their Discord, and the membership tab has a whole bunch of information. Or just come hang out. You can find Hefe's Tavern in the Discord there, so you can always post in there, and I'll try and stay engaged with that. But that's all I got. that's all I got for this week.
Nice. Someone go relay all this alpha to no futuristic. I'm sure he's probably pissed that he missed all this. He'll just have to listen to their recording. I hope someone recorded it.
I believe I saw Zombie Shepherd recording
Yeah,
that.
Zombie Shepherd. I
so-
think he did his Twitch stream, right?
So
Yeah.
so thank you for doing that. Yeah, thank you for recording that. I didn't record this today. So yeah, that's cool. And Web or Goobs, you guys got anything? If not, then we'll wrap it up.
Cool. Thanks
Yeah,
everyone.
everyone.
Yes. See you next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
In chat.
Yeah, see y'all next week. Peace out, friends.
Later.